Hey everybody, it's Eddie J on Crypto for Grow My Bag TV, and there is a lot to unpack this week, so let's really pay attention today, okay? So we've got GDP numbers that are expected to come out on Thursday, and that's huge, but that's right after, and people are missing this, the Case-Shiller report. Their index for real estate across 20 cities is actually coming out previous to that, and I keep telling people the real estate market is nuts. To say the least, it is nuts. Why do I say so? It's because places like the Northeast, they have low volume for houses on the market. They have crazy high prices for houses on the market, and it's not the only region that has this. Now, as you go across the country, what are you seeing? You're seeing home prices drop like tank. You're seeing interest rates hike. What this means is that there are a lot of cities where people cannot afford to buy a house. So who's buying them? Corporations are buying the houses. So we have to pay attention to things like that. But pay attention to what's going on with the GDP report. Excuse me, like I said, that's going to come out on Thursday about 8:30. That's going to be telling. It's going to be telling, and I think that it's going to reflect on inflation. And I think what Powell is going to start thinking is that he's not going to have to raise interest rates during the next opportunity, and maybe raise one more time before year's end. Maybe, really, really, maybe. What's up next? There could be what they call a recycling attack vulnerability on Bitcoin Lightning Network. I have to dig in a little bit, but apparently it's being reported that one of the lead security developers on that network has quit, resigned their post, citing that particular vulnerability and that it must be addressed ASAP. I need to dig into this because I'm also hearing that there's far more Bitcoin acceptance going on around the world, including France. We'll get into that story a little bit later, but that is big news that Antoine Riard is leaving that development team. I wonder what his next move is going to be. Is he going to help out with developing the actual fixes? I don't know, but he did at least make some suggestions, because a lot of executives believe in this mantra that don't come to me with problems, come to me with solutions. Meaning, it doesn't have to be the answer, the overall answer to the problem. But don't just come to me with a problem. Come to me with the problem and demonstrate to me that you've given it some thought and give me some suggestions. And that's exactly what this guy did. He said, listen, here are two ideas that might be able to address this vulnerability. So we'll see what goes on with that. I am paying attention because, I'm really big on adoption. But I have to say, as much as stores should accept Bitcoin, I don't know that Bitcoin should be the frontmost coin that they should accept. I think there are other platforms, other networks, other blockchains that move faster for those kinds of transactions, including Polygon. So, yes, you should adopt Bitcoin and Ethereum, but there are other coins that you should also consider, and Matic is one of them because of the speed of the transaction. Meaning the person comes to the register, they pay with Matic. The transaction can happen in seconds. It can happen in seconds, almost as fast as a credit card transaction, the portion of the credit card transaction that happens at the register. Remember what I said. What's up next? BRICS nations dumped about $18.5 billion worth of US Treasuries over the past month. That's kind of a big deal. If it was two nations, you would say it was a coincidence, but when you have three, China, India, Brazil, all doing it at the same time, it's kind of like, that seems like a concerted effort. Here's what I mean by that. I think they each had to do it, right? But I think the timing of it could have been concerted. I'm pretty sure they spoke about it. That said, it also makes me think that with all the work that they've been doing, they're going to wind up introducing a new currency for BRICS nations for global trade. They've been forcing the decline of the dollar being used in global trade, which means that there's a void that's not being filled by the euro for the same purpose. That's a very big deal. So now here's an idea that they introduce a new currency. Here's a question for you. Why? Like, you think about that? If I'm a nation, I would rather use crypto than I would want to use some new ass currency. I could be insane, but that's the way I look at it. And the reason why is because the transactions happen faster. It's a comparable price across, on a global scale. It's got all the earmarkings of why you would develop a new currency. Because what is that currency going to be based on? But you already know about crypto. So that's why I'm thinking, yeah, that's kind of a silly move. If I'm going to fill a void, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to use any kind of other coin out there that's popular. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Matic, XRP. There are 50 million other coins out there that I could use instead of creating a new currency. And a currency created by those countries? Yeah, I don't think so, bro. I'm just saying, I don't think so. I'm not buying into that one. Now, I told you earlier that there has been an increase in Bitcoin adoption in France, actually around the world, I would say. But in France, it's being called out because you have shops in France that are actually holding Bitcoin specific events to tout the fact that they accept Bitcoin. Why is that a big deal for travelers? They're saying most of the people that are using Bitcoin are people that are basically transients. They're travelers. They come into the city. They're saying, where can I use my Bitcoin? Because the more I can use Bitcoin, the less I have to do that whole fiat swap. Exchange rates are not cheap. So if I can use Bitcoin, I don't have to worry about exchange rates. It's the same rate around the world. All done. All done. So yeah, I'm expecting adoption to continue to increase around the world. And I'm hoping that countries, pick up on that trend, especially here in the United States, because my platform, Rebel Reach, allows you to accept, I think right now we're working with 8 different coins on our platform. Of course, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Matic, XRP. Yeah. So imagine you're a restaurant and you go, hey, we're going to start letting people know we accept Bitcoin here. There's not much change to what you're doing in terms of business. But we're going to start accepting Bitcoin and we're going to start accepting this, that, the other. Guess what? You're going to see a lot of things happen. If you are a retail store, here's something for you to contemplate. You're going to have less of a return problem and less of a fraud problem using crypto. Right? It costs you when somebody brings something back. Using crypto, if they bring it back, that's on them. That's on them. A store would never have to accept those fees anymore, right? They lose out on the initial credit card transaction. They lose out on the give back transaction. They lose out all over the place. But now the onus would be on the actual purchaser. And so they would think twice about, hey, is this really the version that I want? Most stores would adopt a policy that says, hey, we're still going to accept things back. But we don't have to eat that price. We don't have to eat those taxes, eat the credit card cuts. We no longer have to eat that. We would just give back your money. Right? You paid $100 for this, we give you back $100. And not give back $100 and take a hit on so many other things. That's what we're talking about here. So yes, I'm hoping that, adoption continues to rise and companies start calling us up to help them with that adoption process. Anyway, what else is up? Did you know banks over in 2022, the average net margin for banks from 2010 to 2021 was 9%. It was 12% according to McKinsey in 2022, and they also suspect that it'll be 13% in 2023. That's what led banks to make over $280 billion as an industry. That's huge. That's huge. So when you think about interest rates going up and this, that, and the other going up, car loans, all that stuff, this is why. This is the reason why. This is how they're making extra money. And it's not necessarily because they went in and did something special. It didn't. That's just how everything gets calculated. So this is not a dig on the banks. It's just the way it is. It's explaining to you how it works, right? Pay attention to how things work, not just to, oh, I can make money this way. No, pay attention to how things work, and you'll start to understand that, oh, I can do certain things to take advantage. Now, don't get me wrong. There are other things that we should be paying attention to. So there's inflation and there's greedflation. Go look up greedflation. That's actually a good word. It's a very good word for you to understand. That's the increase of costs to you, the purchaser, just because of greed, not because of inflation. Hence, greedflation. Go ahead, look up the technical term and really get to know that word. What else is up? We have Binance adding support for USDC on the Polygon network, which is huge. The new recognized coin, coin will be called Matic USDCE, or MATIC USDCE. Maybe that's why you saw Matic jump up almost 10% in the past 24 hours. That's right. Pay attention to that. A little while ago it was 51 cents, and now it's at 61, 62 cents. We're talking big moves. Big moves. You know what we should do now? We should get into the numbers. And I think you're going to be pretty surprised at what those numbers are. So let me just refresh this real quick, because it's been about 10 minutes since I've done so. Let's see. All right. So you have Matic up 9%. You have Chainlink, because they had news today as well. Excuse me, that they're doing upgrades to, that will allow TVL on theirs. And they're up 11%. Phantom, I don't know why, but it's up 14%. Immutable X has been doing good things over the past week or so, 2 weeks. They're up 9%. Who else am I paying attention to? Quant, surprise, 6% upward move. That's big. Pepe, something I will not put my hands on, is still up 6%. Now, mind you, Pepe didn't come out all that long ago, and it's all-time high. It's 83% off its all-time high. I'm just putting that out there for you so you can have an understanding about what goes on in that space. Who's down? Is there anybody down? WorldCoin is down 5%. I don't pay attention to anything under 5%. But WorldCoin doesn't really offer me anything, and I don't see a reason why I would get involved in it. Who else is on that down list? Let's see. Nothing of interest, right? Because you get to about here and you're at zero. Remember what I told you. Pay attention to the pairs. Some coins move in sync with other coins. So pay attention to that. Go hit the charts and start paying attention to that, because that's actually a very big deal. Let's get over here. Like I said, the crypto fear and greed index is at 53, which is a tad bit higher. At 54, you're at the end of neutral and approaching. So 55 would be in the actual greed section. Pay attention to that. I think it's going to go up tomorrow. And do you see this TVL up over $50 billion? It could be because Solana is up to over 350 million in their TVL. I think that's a record for them, or a recent record for them. So that's big. Now, if you look at the chart, again, I keep telling you, pay attention. I told you that if we can maintain above my number of 2828, we can see 30,000. And what are we looking at right now? We hit steadily above 28,028 for Bitcoin. And what happened? It's over 30,000. I told you that. And I'm sticking to it. Do I call it the Eddie J on crypto effect? No, I don't. That would be silly. It is kind of funny though. But now we're looking at 31,580. Now, do I expect a slight pullback? Yes, I do. But do I think that we're going to turn around and look backwards and maybe get back down to that 25,000? Yeah, no, I don't think so. I don't think so. This is why I keep telling people, build up now. Start building up your crypto portfolios now and continue building. And the reason why, next year is going to be crazy. And when the Bitcoin spot ETFs hit, the gloves are off. You're going to see an influx, not just an influx of money, but you're going to see an influx of usage. The tokenization of, into digital assets, traditional into digital, is going to be huge. Do it now while it's still low. Don't be a part of the crowd that's FOMOing in. Be a part of the crowd that's seeing forward, seeing onward and upward. Thank you, Dr. Brindle. Late and great Dr. Brindle gave me that line in my last year of junior high school when I was a kid. Love that man. Sousa, stand up. This is Eddie J on Crypto for Grow My Bag TV. I hope you have a great one. If you enjoy what I'm doing, drop me a note. I would truly appreciate it. And if you don't like what I'm doing, drop me a note and tell me how I can improve. I would greatly appreciate that as well. Have a good one. Bye-bye.